is down, but they're looking for the killer blow. That's it, back of the end zone. Dagger! He's looking. Jamil's coming. He's moving. He's moving. He's got him. He's got him. It was caught, but Jed has called the sack. Incomplete. He called the sack. It's 2 points to the Hammerhead. An unbelievable sack there by Jamil. This is the last game of the day. It's caught and it's in. It's a touchdown.
That's it.
It's a touchdown. The last play of the game. The clock is at zeros. That's it. Your Swansea Hammerheads are advancing to the Division 1 final, having knocked off the 2 seed and having knocked off the 1 seed. Alan Young, you look absolutely stunned.
What do you mean by live? Genuine live?
Yes. We're broadcasting.
Hello, radio!
And now, a new episode of The Way We HNC It. Yes, Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of The Way We HNC It. Hopefully, you've all had an incredibly enjoyable festive period for those that participate. And let me start by introducing you all to a man who you have missed recently. Welcome back. Happy New Year to Mr. Greg Sim.
Happy New Year, Bez. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well, thank you. And I'm very glad to see, just before we get going, because Mr. Anderson has received a lot of fans for his choice of pizza Udi. You are currently sporting a gorgeous unicorn donut cookies.
No,
Stars?
just unicorns.
Unicorns and stars.
It's,
looks very cozy.
It is a baby blue, I would say. Baby blue with some pink unicorns.
Yeah. It's quite the look.
It's very comfy. I've actually had to steal it back from the dog because she's kind of used it as a almost like a bed. So
been marked.
It may look good, but I can tell you one thing: it does not smell great. But we are in the midst of January. It is cold. It's dark. I just need some water.
It's dark and cold up here in the HNC. Recently, I'm not sure what the official time is today, but for us, the sun went down today. I think it was 15:27. The sun disappeared today. So
I can neither confirm nor verify that because I was stuck at work. So by the time I turned up at work, it was dark, and by the time I left, it was dark and red, which was tremendous. It's always a little morale booster when you walk out the door and it's pissing with rain.
I did look at something a little while ago, and we've already gone completely tangential on this show. I looked at it the other day, and it was something like the south coast of England. So our good friends, the Chichester Sharks, like it's genuinely something like they get an extra hour of sunset or something. I can't remember.
Well, has there not been discussions about having a time difference during winter or something like that?
So they're right. Southampton today, sunset 16:13, and then
full extra hour.
Granton on Spey was 15:44, so half an hour extra they got. They got half an hour extra today. So
lucky devils, eh?
Lucky devils. I hope they spent it wisely.
Carpe diem, eh?
Carpe diem. Hopefully you're all enjoying your sunlight. So hey, all adds up. All adds up. If it helps. So how's it going? Greg, I've not shared a football pitch with you since the quake.
Oh, crikey. And what was that? September?
September?
I don't even know if I've actually have I actually seen you since then?
Must have done.
I'm not entirely sure. You may no, because you were meant to,
because you dingy awards night.
visited.
So yeah,
We're meant because you had a lovely stay in a hotel in Aberdeen.
I did.
And we was meant to be up for dinner, but we never did.
We never did. We never did. So,
so it's lovely to see you again.
It is lovely to see your face again.
And life is just going. It just goes.
Well, I mean, you do have a tiny child now. So.
It does, yeah. She's been a bit of a riot. I'm trying to keep the noise down a little bit. So if I'm a bit quieter than people are used to, it's probably because of that.
Probably because of the tiny child. Well, what we should do now then is we should do the loud bit of the show and play the Greg with the News theme tune.
Greg with the News.
So, although I've not been on the show, I have been paying a little bit of attention, not a huge amount, a little bit. You guys obviously done a fantastic job on the ladies' finals, which, unless you're living under a rock, was won by the 9-time national champions now, 9 times. Coventry Cougars.
Open bracket, 9, close bracket.
Yep. Do you know how many that equals? Since we're at the start of January, it is almost national championship in, obviously, college football right now.
It's true.
The Michigan Wolverines, who are going to be in the national championships, they also have 9 championships. Huh? So the Coventry Cougars are as good as the Michigan Wolverines.
There you go. That's a fun fact that I did not know.
There you go.
Yeah, no, they were. It was a spectacular. Once where it was a spectacular day. At Ravenscraig, we were treated to some. It started off so good. So the very first game on pitch 1, our pitch, the show pitch, was Samurai and Amazons. That was a 1-point thriller. That was a 13-12 1-point game. When it ended over on the other pitch, the Manchester Titans and Saxon the City went to overtime, so we got to stream that, with the Titans winning 13-12 in the extra point shootout. And then in the quarterfinals, the Titans went 18-0 up against the Giants, but then the Giants came roaring back, showing their class to get a 26-18 win. On the Leeds Samurai got a safety to go, and the Coventry Cougars got a touchdown, and that was it. It was a 6-2 win for the Coventry Cougars over on that pitch, which had all kinds of chaos going on over on that. And then we had the plate tournament with the Amazons and the Titans. That was a 1-point game. The Titans went for 2 at the end to win it and missed it, which put the Amazons into the plate final. Saxon the City on the other side, they did a job on the Samurai for a 25-6 win. And then the Amazons managed a 32-6 win on the live stream. In the plate tournament, they were phenomenal in that match. But to be fair to Saxon the City, they Ironman the whole thing, 5 players the whole day. So massive credit to them just for making the plate final. So I think they went home kind of relatively happy with what they'd managed to achieve there. Over on the national championship game, we got to see the Pirates take on the Giants, in what was a very, very controlled performance from the number 1 seed, 20-6 win. Didn't kind of explode the way that we maybe thought they would, but they eased out to a good score. The Coventry Derby has potential to be the must-watch game for the next couple of years. It was tight in the regular season, first game of the year. Playoffs, 14-12 to the Cougars. In the end, extra points make the difference. Panthers then went on to get their playoff win in the final, 27-14 over the Giants. And then, we all know that in the final, the Cougars played not far off the perfect game, 21-6, to be the nine-time national champions. What a day. What a day. What a day.
I mean, that is a lot of information you've just came out with there, Bez. Take a breath.
Scores on the doors.
Sit back. That final really was actually a great game to watch. It was incredibly tense in that first half. Incredibly tense. There was that quarterback change at the start of the second half that just obviously, I think, changed the game enough.
Yeah.
Gave them a little bit, gave them just that little edge that then pushed them just beyond. And then the controversial ejection as well.
I actually haven't.
They're coming towards death.
I actually haven't finished watching all of the, because I like to watch them back and see like where I was speaking too much crap and too far away from the microphone, not close enough to the microphone.
A little bit of self-assessment there, is it?
Yeah, I mean, like you've got to, like we're getting asked to do stuff like this more and more and more, so we want to make it as good as we can be. Unfortunately, like shout out to Tree because he's not here, but like there was a moment in the first half of the first game where it all came like minutes away from crumbling down. So for those of you that were watching us right at the beginning, there was an audio issue where basically our words were about between 10 and 30 seconds ahead of what was happening. And eventually the stream completely froze. It knocked us offline. We managed to get it back. It knocked us offline again. So what we did was we basically the public. So when we've done it before at Ravenscraig, we've had access to essentially, I guess, staff Wi-Fi. Not many people on it, super stable. That was not even an option this year. Did not exist on the drop down where you can see everyone's, you see all the available networks. Didn't even exist for us to try and connect to or ask for permission to connect to. So we did everything off of the public leisure center Wi-Fi, which meant that the bandwidth required to have everything running the way we wanted to was basically just the Wi-Fi couldn't handle it, unfortunately. It was so shaky and unstable that we had to pull right back on replay. The software that we're going to use in order to dial in the sideline reporter that we were really excited about was blocked by the leisure, by the council Wi-Fi. Weren't allowed on it, but it took us a while to work that one out. So that's why we ended up basically doing like booth cam, field cam, and scores and graphics. Basically, we had everything else that we got really excited about and we'd spoken about before, we'd written the blog about. We were completely let down by the out of our hands Wi-Fi. Now, the technical wizardry of Stuart Anderson, the stream master, basically kept us online. Like there was a genuine point where I was like, we're gonna have to put a post out saying we can't do this. And we didn't in the end. We got it back and it worked. And so shout out to Tree for handling all of that. And also a massive shout out to Mark at Comhara, who gave us a proper broadcast camera for the first time. So the last couple of years, people that have followed the stream, what you've been watching has essentially been a like handheld, like, family video camera on a tripod. Essentially what it is. It's the only way I can kind of explain it, like a handy cam thing. This year we had a, Comhara Media, very nice of them, gave us a media quality camera. And Tom Clark manned it all day. And I've never seen him when it came to take the thing apart, to take it off its stand, I've never seen him more scared of breaking something in my life. Thankfully, it went back into its nice padded briefcase.
I was going to say, of all the people who put in charge of that thing, that right there is the biggest risk I've ever heard of you take.
Yeah, so Mark came down beforehand, got it all, helped get it all set up. We, did some slight adjusting to the Ravenscraig safety netting in order to be able to shoot through it. And yeah, the only problem we ended up having with field angle was when we tried to show a touchdown in the corner of the other pitch, and there was a massive yellow girder in the way. But to be fair, that was a pitch that we weren't supposed to be showing, and we basically managed to get to the end zone line and no further. So, so without those guys, like, it really, really doesn't happen. So, very, very grateful to them, and then obviously grateful to all the players on the day that put on like an epic show, and it made our lives very, very easy. But yeah, what a final. And it was really good. I was really good. And credit to the Cougars, Millie coming on in the second half changes that game.
It just gave that offense just that extra little dynamic, didn't it? They just you had absolutely. Kelly back there. It just seemed to be missing a wee spark, and then obviously it was just there in the second half. They had a little bit more composure with pushing the ball a bit further down the field, and you could just see it. It just things seemed to work a little bit smoother.
Yeah, it was it was a brilliant final, and spoken to some of the Pirates staff and some of the players, and they're quite rightly immensely proud of what they achieved over the season, and it's very difficult to beat an opponent when they play that well. It was good for the world to meet Abby Coleman for the first time. I know that many people in Scotland are very familiar with her work, both with the Pirates, with the team that won gold at the European Youth Flag. She's played Winter League with Rex's Midnight Runners. So I think people are kind of much more aware of her than they were now, which is great to see. And yeah, keep an eye out on those Cougars, because they were not, it was not the Cougars team that we're used to seeing. There was a couple of names that were not there. So with their eyes set on double digits next year, it'll be very, very interesting season with the continued rise of the Panthers, with the Pirates. They now know they can go out there, they can get a 1 seed, they can make a final. That's a huge hurdle,
It's great because it helps sort of, we've been talking a lot about how the game's growing and we're kind of seeing progress. And I think this is the next sort of stage of that sort of competitiveness within that ladies division, is seeing the fact that it's going to be about 4, maybe 5 teams that really can put on a bit of a challenge on any given day. So it's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic for if, again, we're asked to do a broadcast for the finals next year. We'll hopefully get to see a few more upsets in the same way in that we do with the national finals. That some of the best sort of clips you get from that is when you do get those moments of
oh boy,
exhilaration, of teams managing to upset the apple cart. And as the women's game develops and you've got to start to see that sort of depth of competition, it's going to make it fantastic.
Yeah, and there seems to be, on kind of social media, there seems to be I think we're right on the edge of like an explosion in teams, like whether they're ready for the league or not next year, I don't know. But I'm going to butcher where they're from now. I'm going to have to look them up. But I saw that the West Lancashire Serpents were looking at they were recruiting for a women's team. The I don't know where the Huskies are from. I can't remember off the top of my head. Chester. In Chester, there's a team called the Huskies. They're massive. They're really looking forward to recruiting for their team. Obviously, we've got 13 teams in the league already, so that rounds you out to 15. Do you start to get into groups of 5 or 7 and 8? Like, geographically, like, where do we start to go here? And there's probably a whole bunch of other teams that we're not aware of. So
quite possibly, and that's when you get that's good questions and good headaches to have.
Yeah, absolutely. Aberdeen have been chatting about getting a women's team together. So there's their uni team in Edinburgh, the Kelpies. So there's like 4 straight off the bat that I can think of off the top of my head. So I have no doubt that there are other teams that are pushing that as well. So could get very exciting, very, very quick.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, fantastic final showpiece for the end of the 2023 season, and huge amount to look forward to for 2024 then.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that's a nice way to round that one, is it?
I think that's a very good way to round that one off. Good, positive New Year show.
Hey, positivity. Who knew we had that in us? Okay, so moving on then. Swiftly moving on. And we're a couple of weeks away from one of the biggest tournaments in Europe, really.
Yeah, we are.
Already, with the turn of the calendar brings with it flagging New Year, as it always does.
Absolutely. Happy New Year. It's flagging New Year, and this is a goodie.
Oh, yes. So the draw has been made. All teams who have been, obviously, all the teams who have put themselves forward for it now know their fate in terms of the groups. It's obviously on Turnify. Will we be able to?
Yeah, we'll throw that in we'll throw that in the description. Yeah,
lovely stuff. So everyone who probably watched it anyway, or someone from their team probably watched it and has put out that information already. If not, go ahead, have a look, find out who you're going to play. Take us through it, Bez.
So we will do.
What games are you looking forward to?
We will do a full flagging New Year preview episode next week, and maybe we'll get our first guest of the year on for that one, because that's always a good show. That is always a good show. Flagging New Year preview is always a good show. So we'll see what we can do there. But this year is interesting because we're starting to see the proper post-COVID return of international teams. It's starting to get pretty good. So,
okay, talk to me.
Group 1, third best team in the country. Grangemouth Broncos, home squad, first out of the pot, first name drawn. Group 1, Team 1, Grangemouth Broncos. Utrecht Dominators coming back. We know them well. They come every year. Great crowd, great team. Edinburgh Outlaws slotting in there as the next Scottish team in the tournament. Newly crowned back-to-back, like 30 rounds of overtime. Emerald Bowl champions all the way over from Ireland. The South Dublin Panthers are back. Good to see them back. We've got the Chichester Sharks in that group, and we've got Bold City College from the United States of America. So whenever...
Bold City College.
No idea. But whenever an American team comes over, we get damn excited. So we're looking forward to seeing them in action. Of course, we're expecting a lot of very fast people and a lot of athletes from that team, which brings us beautifully onto Group 2, where we have only one Scottish team in Group 2, which is always exciting for them. So that's the Glasgow Killer Bees. We're going to have the Newcastle Blackhawks, who are basically a HNC team at this point. They are great pals, and we always see them at Winter League. So teams that know each other quite well. The Manchester Titans, 4th in BAFA this year, coming back into Group 2. And then we have the 1st and 15 Mercenaries So who knows what they'll bring? But they've got themselves a couple of bits of silverware at recent tournaments. So we're looking forward to seeing them in Group 2. And then we've got two teams that have similar but different questions too, Greg. Number one, the boys from the Netherlands, which I think are the guys behind Monkeys with Attitude, but I might be wrong.
Okay.
But we've got the boys, another Dutch team, and then we've got Air Assault.
Now, who on earth would be behind Air Assault?
So, I did some digging into Air Assault, and they seem to have links to a team called Mayhem and a guy named Bobby Black, which leaves me with a question. Who the fuck is Bobby Black?
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him. Yeah, if anybody wants to answer that question, who the fuck is Bobby Black, then yeah, let us know.
I mean, it's great to see that, New Year and the family show etiquette straight out the window yet again, thanks to Flag and New Year and certain people's presence.
Yeah, New Year, same shenanigans. So yeah, Bobby and the Mayhem, the Air Assault, will be making their return to Group 2. Group number 3.
In fact, are you sure? Are you sure Bobby's going to be involved with that?
I'm not sure. They were originally the Mayhem, and then they changed their name. That was all.
Well, yeah, because
I don't know if he is actually coming or not.
No, I think the last I'd heard, the last I'd spoken to the guys from Mayhem was that he's actually on a new assignment. He's on new posting.
Oh.
Yeah, so he's no longer. I don't know when this posting was due to begin, but I don't think he's in Germany anymore, Bez.
No, that is.
He's got a really, really tough gig.
Oh,
really
God.
tough gig.
He's not. Diego Garcia.
He's been shipped out to Hawaii.
Oh dear. Oh well. Thoughts and prayers, prayers, and alohas for Bobby.
Indeed, yeah. So it might well be a case of it's little Bobby that's quarterbacking for that team.
Yeah. Oh dear. I'm not sure if that's a good thing for anyone in Group 2.
Yeah, exactly. You're still going to have the same problems.
You're still going to have a lot of problems.
They may be a bit chaotic, but they're always fun to play.
They're all a lot of fun to watch. So yeah, Group 3. Only one Scottish team in Group 3. That's us. That's the All Cats. Hello. We've got the Craigavon Cowboys from Northern Ireland.
Yep.
We've got the Dutch Mambas from the Netherlands, who are the other team that I think one of the teams, it's either them or the boys, are Monkeys with Attitude, I think, based like loosely horror wise. And I can't remember which way around it is. So either way, a fun Dutch team. The Salford Scorpions are in there. And then we've got the question on everybody's mind: are the Oil Cats and the Crows the new Hornets and Kings? Because the Crows and the Oil Cats will meet once more in the 12-minute format in a good battle, and everyone will be united to try and defeat one team in this group. I'm not sure how easy that's going to be for anyone, but the GB Silver Lions are also the headliner in Group 3. So yeah, that's big fish, big exciting group there. Likely to be a battle for second place, but what a battle that is going to turn out to be.
Fair comment. Indeed.
Yeah, what a battle that's going to be, and plenty of friends of the show in that group. So we're it should be fun to see everyone again. Which brings us to Group number 4. Where we have a very, very interesting group. The battle to get out of this group is going to be glorious. So we've got new Premiership team, the Murray Distillers, are in Group 4. We've got the Border City Centurions in Group 4 as well. And then we have the National Championship runner-up, Glasgow Hornets. We have the National Championship plate winners, the Reading Devils. We have the former National Championship plate winners, the Northants Titans. And we have an exceptional team off of France in Kalikaku.
Now, they'll be great on the Saturday. On the Sunday, they will go down with the designation of questionable, depending on how their Saturday night goes.
Well,
those guys love a party.
Well, unfortunately for everyone in Group 4, all of the group games are on the Saturday. So to me, that is just such a glorious group.
I've spoken to a few of the Kalikaku guys before, and I think what was there's a criteria that you must meet to be allowed to play for Kalikaku.
Oh, okay.
And it's one.
Does it involve pints?
One is be a good player. Of
course.
2 is just be generally decent person. 3 is you must love a party.
Nice.
That's it.
Nice.
Brilliant. Fantastic. These guys first came across them in Big Bowl a couple of years back now. And they were out today. I think it was like 3-4 in the morning, and they'd stayed out camping. And I mean,
yes, they were pitchside camping, weren't they? Yeah.
Yes. And they announced the game, and they like rolled down the zipper of the tent and kind of poked their heads out, and were like, "Oh no,
oh dear!"
Literally, as it like we'd been out doing a proper warm up and everything like that, and they kind of stumble across, and you could smell the drink.
Superb, absolutely superb.
And they still balled out.
Because that's what they do. So
yeah, exactly. So they'll be good fun to watch.
They are Group 4. So yeah, really, really looking forward to seeing how that group shakes out.
And not to get too far into like the analysis of it, because we obviously want to leave some stuff for next week.
We'll leave some content for next week.
Yeah, absolutely. But it'll be interesting to see which of the Reading Devils and the Mercenaries that you get BT12 playing for, actually, because obviously Pink Bowl, it was Reading Devils, wasn't it? And he ended up going and winning that.
Yeah, so they won Pink Bowl with that, and then he was
quarterbacked the Mercenaries when they went and won the tournament that they won recently.
Yeah.
So, and obviously with the Silvers being in Group 3, I would imagine that you've got a few of the lads from the Devils obviously playing with them.
Yeah, and what's very interesting is that I'm pretty sure it's like A plays B and B plays C.
Ooh.
So like if you want to get
Silver Lions against the Devils.
The Devils come, because you're assuming that the Lions are going to win that, right? Which means that the self-proclaimed GB Bronze Reading Devils might end up playing the GB Silvers in the quarterfinal.
Oh, that is a matchup I want to see.
So,
that could be great.
Yeah, GB Silver versus GB Bronze.
Oh, let's go.
Let's
get into it.
So yeah, we'll preview the whole show, the whole tournament next week. We'll do a proper show for it. We'll get very excited. We'll do some research. We'll maybe try and get some guests. But yeah.
I'll make a few inquiries and see what we can get in terms of information as well.
Yeah, hyped.
Fantastic! That's brilliant. Wow, how on earth do we follow that up?
So, well, there's more tournament news.
There is actually, yes. Sorry, we're still actually on the news items, aren't we?
We are technically still on the news items, yeah.
Wait, what, half an hour, almost 40 minutes into this, and we're still at news.
Still with the news.
So, this one's actually intriguing. I know very little about this. I actually did see an advert for it up on Facebook, I think it was. I think it went into the British American football chat. But Bez, I suspect you know a little bit more than I do about a certain event called Flagapolooza.
Flagapolooza, yeah, absolutely. So, Flagapolooza is being put together by our friends at the Cheltenham Neptunes. They have weaseled their way in, done some serious networking and businessing and
businessing.
That is the technical corporate word for it.
Okay,
Greg.
cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
As
school day.
As you know, as a serious man of corporations and business, businessing is is the way to make things.
Businessing is one of your favorite hobbies these days, isn't it?
I am top businesser. So yes, they have manipulated their own fate to get in with the Cheltenham Sevens Festival. For those that are unaware of the Cheltenham Sevens Festival, it's a pretty big thing. Like, it's probably the second like biggest sporting event in Cheltenham. It's certainly, I've only heard of two. One of them is the ponies.
Horse racing.
One of them.
I was like, why would you not do big sporting events in Cheltenham? But
yeah. So one of them is the annual mortgage payment, and the other one is the Cheltenham Sevens. And yeah, basically it's a music and sports festival. So they obviously have like the classic rugby sevens, fancy dress, party stand, eating, drinking, having a super time. And they also kind of have like I think last year they had like a celebrity game. But they do like 11 kind of, they do like a whole bunch of different sports. Like there's functional fitness events, there's like freaking they do like one of those like color powder fun run things, like elite rugby, and then
so
like
is actually
men's and women's social rugby. Yeah. So it ends up being like I'm pretty sure there ends up being like 8,000 to 10,000 people there. Music, camping, the whole lot. So it's like a big deal. And basically the guys at the Tunes have turned up the Tunes and worked out how to get flag football on the docket for this year. So it is flag fives, standard flag fives rules. It's looking like there's going to be a cash prize pot for the teams that wins. 20 male mixed, 8 women. Okay. Men's mixed over 2 days, women's on the Sunday. And yeah, 19th and 20th of July in Cheltenham. Stay, camp, party, play, all that kind of stuff.
That sounds like it could be pretty awesome, actually.
This could be amazing. So
especially when you start thinking about the size of the event as well, it's going to be if it's run, if they manage to get this right, and knowing the couple of days, it's huge. It could be a huge opportunity.
Yeah. So we're going to get some of the guys on to come and plug, basically. So they'll be coming on to tell us and everyone much more about it in the future. Places are possibly going to go on sale next week.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's going to be £150 for a team of 7, and then an extra 40 quid for every additional player. That will include your entry to the festival for the whole weekend, as well as playing in the tournament and everything that goes with that. And if you want to camp out in the festival field, it's just going to be an extra tenner. You will be able to, so when you first register, you can register for 7. If more people want to join your team further down the line, you can just pay for them as you go up until a cutoff or the festival as a whole reaches capacity.
Okay.
So there is a line there where you have to be kind of, you get 7, and then after that, you're going to have to get in at a certain point. It's not going to be something where, like
you'd rock up on the day.
Your mate Dave can rock up and play for you on the day if someone else hasn't dropped out. So
sorry, Dave.
You're good, but you should have been more organized. So yeah, that's that. But they're going to put a full kind of frequently asked questions up on that's going to go up on the Cheltenham Sevens Festival website. It's cheltenhamsevensfestival.co.uk. Easy. Flagapolooza on Instagram, or just check out any of our social media, and the link will be there to link to them. And yeah, we're going to be doing a lot of coverage as we get closer to the event. And yeah, obviously remember, if you are hosting an event, send us the information for it and you will get a plug like this one. So yeah, but no, like on the kind of on the surface, on the initial announcements and stuff, looks like it could be very, very good fun. So
certainly, yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I might have a sneaky little look and see a little bit more about the actual festival as a whole, because it sounds like it could be pretty awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like it would be a pretty daft weekend anyway. Like, I don't know how many people that are listening to us have ever been to a rugby sevens weekend. It's an absolute riot. So
I was going to say, it sounds like a perfect Kalikaku weekend.
It does sound like a perfect Kalikaku weekend. So maybe we should chat to them next week. Yeah, like even the rugby sevens at like World Series level, there's always a fancy dress stand. Like, you'll be playing in like Cape Town, in the Springbok Stadium, or you would play.
Sorry to interrupt, but it's the rugby sevens. Is that like a high level sort of event?
I don't know how
who plays in it, or is it?
I don't know how high level like the rugby sevens will be at Cheltenham. They do have a thing that's called Rugby Elite. So I'm guessing, I don't know, maybe kind of, I don't know.
If you don't know, you don't know.
I don't know.
That's fine. We can find out more when we come back.
Yeah, I mean, if it's anything similar to like the sevens at Melrose, there have been like, like professional players turn up at like what is essentially an amateur event. So could be very exciting to watch that, as well as obviously have essentially a captive audience of 8,000 people around a flag football pitch. Could be a lot of fun. So also, as you say I'm just on the website now. Apparently the event is proudly sponsored by Jägermeister, which I think is probably what they should have put on the flyer, to be honest. That should have been the first thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 100%. There's going to be certain people who will be forgoing the cash prize in terms of the equal amount of Jägermeister.
If your quarterback throws a bomb, you have to do one.
Does that mean there's a podcast team going?
This is no longer a family show. 3 swears and some Jaeger bombs. This is definitely no longer a family show.
Welcome to the new year.
Welcome to the new year. But yeah, that's Flagapolooza. So when we find the kind of opening date, we'll share it. Flagapolooza will share it, but make sure you give them a follow on Facebook. No, not Facebook, on Instagram. And have a look at the Cheltenham Sevens as well to see if it sounds like your cup of tea. But yeah, I think that's all the information I have. And maybe I have more. I'm sorry if you sent me more, Ben, but that's the broad strokes are covered and my phone's got 3% battery left.
Without paying for the plug.
Yeah, that's what you get for a free plug, right?
There's going to be some adverts in between the plug, unless you pay for it. It's a premium service, that one.
Yeah, sign up for our Only Flags and you'll be able to get a little bit more for that.
Oh, dear me.
Hashtag Only Flags. Hashtag the way we hate to see it.
£5 a day.
That's it. You never know what you're going to get for that pop. What else is going on in the wide world of flag football?
What else? In that, I'm not entirely sure.
There's Winter League this weekend. There is also Winter League this weekend. So,
what's this, week 4?
Sure. Yeah, it's week 4.
yeah, why not?
It's hard because the teams that have to travel further so far have been given buys and stuff. So this week the Centurions are on their bye, which leaves all the other teams kind of with something to play for. This is the last round of the regular season. So the group, the knockout phase is just a 4-5 split. So the top 4 will go into the championship group. The bottom 4 will go into kind of the plate group. So at the moment, your top 4 are Top Gun, Glasgow, Grangemouth, and the Border City Centurions. However, the Centurions have played 16 games. All the other teams have only played 12. And Aberdeen, Newcastle, and the Cobras have only played 10.
Okay.
Which I'm guessing means that Aberdeen, Newcastle, and the Cobras are all playing 6 games on the bounce this weekend. So
there might be a few tired legs.
There might be some tired leggies by the end of that. So Top Gun and Glasgow Flag Football are way out in front, 36 and 30 points respectively. The Colts sitting pretty happily in third. They've got 4 games left. They're on 21 points. Border City on 19. To be honest, the Raptors are on 15. The Chargers are on 18. And even Aberdeen are on 13. With enough games to go that all of them could pass Border City. I don't think all of them will, because those teams are all going to play each other. But I think Border City will be, I don't even think it's possible for them to hold on to 4th. So they're probably going to drop out. So it'll be the Chargers and the Raptors and Aberdeen on 18, 15, and 13, respectively, looking to pinch that final spot. With Newcastle and the Cobras, they are in 8th and 9th, respectively, on 3 points each, with 1 win and 9 losses. So yeah, we'll just we'll see how that goes. The next time out for Winter League is going to be at the beginning of February at Ravenscraig. That's going to see the return of Junior Winter League. So we're going to see the under-16s kind of back in action. And then there'll be the final round, I guess, as it were, in I think that's in March. I think it's the first weekend of March for that one, which would be pretty cool. So yeah, I'll try and get the game picks out, or the total games won pick game. Never really found a good way of describing what it is this year. Missed the last round. Basically, I totally forgot when league was on. I have no excuse. I literally just someone sent me a message being like, "Are you coming?" I
appreciate the honesty.
So I got a text like, "Here, you Winter League today," and I was like, "No, I am on my sofa." Damn. So, yeah, I'll get the game picks out, and we'll see how everybody gets on for that. And I think that is most of the flag football news. However, we did talk about a game that you found the other day, Greg.
Oh, well, yes.
And I've had an idea about the game.
That concerns me because I don't think this was the platform I initially envisaged.
So Greg basically sent me a message, and it was a screenshot of a game, and it's not dissimilar to those if you're a 5 Live fan. You may have listened to the show on a Saturday morning, which is called Fighting Talk. And in Fighting Talk, they do defend the indefensible. And it's usually things like, X embattled manager is the person to lead. They should keep their job and lead X team to a brighter future. Or, this athlete is the best person for this, or this athlete, or the other way around, incredibly successful athlete A is past their prime, and you have to basically defend the position for a minute. and they get about 30 seconds notice.
Okay.
So Greg has sent me an idea for a game which is called Don't Get Me Started. And basically you give someone else a random topic, and they have to go on an angry rant about it for as long as they can. And it's
See, this is such a shame that Tree's not here because
parties and car rides and all sorts. So what I would like you to do, listeners, send us topics.
Okay.
Send DM the page some topics, and we will Don't Get Me Started on a couple of shows. We'll see how we get on. Or maybe we'll do it at Flag and New Year. Maybe we will approach people at Flag and New Year with our little camera, and we will ask you to Don't Get Me Started on, and we'll create some magic. But yeah, so that's the game. Don't get me started. Give us a topic. Don't get Greg started on. Bang.
I was going to say, Bez, you're getting potential guests for next week's show quite worried about what they might encounter.
Oh, yeah, that's true. We should probably get them to confirm they're coming on before we release the show.
Before we, give them a potential gauntlet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking unaided on a subject that they know nothing about with 30 seconds notice.
Yeah. I mean, come on, it's not that hard, is it?
What could go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong? Family show. So, yeah, fantastic. So I think that might be all I have.
Is that all you have?
I mean, there's always more. There's always more, but we'll save trauma for another day.
This is just to whet the appetite for the new year, knowing fine that there's a proper preview coming next week where we might even have a Mr. Anderson. And where we might have some hijinks.
I would say that hijinks are almost guaranteed.
You know what? I might have to make a scheduled slot for this every week. This might be quite fun to do. Talking about flag football every once in a while.
You should enjoy it. Yeah. Hijinks and shenanigans are guaranteed. So before we go, Greg, I'm going to ask you. Tell you what, I'll give you time to think. I'll give you more than 30 seconds. Okay. Obviously, This is our first show of the new year, and we just had Christmas.
Okay.
And Christmas is well known as a time for pulling crackers and getting jokes. So, Greg, I'm going to tell you my favorite joke that I got at my Christmas cracker this year. And then I was just wondering if you could remember any of yours. So the joke, Greg, if you're ready, is what do you call an old snowman?
A puddle.
Close. The answer was water.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
You know what? But every time you put me in the spot, my mind just goes blank.
There was another one, which is why has Santa been banned from sooty chimneys?
I have absolutely no idea.
His carbon footprint.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That one's not so good.
Christmas
I feel this is definitely one where we need
Tree's book.
So. Yeah, exactly. His little that's it. I've got the shelf of books up now as well. I could find a spot for a good little
for a good little. I mean, you are a dad now, so really you should have a dad joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the Christmas cracker that I had. So yeah, I think that is.
I'll tell you what, Bez, I've just done a quick search for some New Year's jokes for you.
Okay.
So why do you need a jeweler on New Year's Eve?
Why do you need a jeweler on New Year's Eve? I don't know, Greg. Why do you need a jeweler on New Year's Eve?
To ring in the new year.
He's back, ladies and gentlemen. Greg Sim is back on the podcast. And that is how we are going to end the first week of 2024. So thank you very much for spending some time with us on The Way We HNC It. So it is goodbye from Greg.
Goodbye.
And it is goodbye from me. That is The Way We HNC It. Remember that you can be sure to never miss an episode of The Way We HNC It by subscribing on whatever platform you listen on and ensuring that you leave us a couple of stars as a review. To be honest, we're not entirely sure what that does, but if you enjoy the show, give us some decent stars and tell your friends. And if you don't enjoy the show, then feel completely free to tell nobody about it. You tried, you didn't like it, but hey, at least you tried and at least we got here. And to be honest, you must have liked it a little bit because at the end of the show, you're still listening. Speak soon, everyone. Have a great week.